Good evening and welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for the city of Sunbury. It is July 28th, 6:30 p.m. Would you please join me in a moment of silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance? Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor St. John,
Here.
Mrs. Miller, here. Mr. Grumney, here. Mrs. Crawford, here. Mr. Soderman,
Here.
Mr. Long is absent. 5 present. We have quorum.
All right. This evening, the first item on the agenda is there are 2 public hearings. Both of the public hearings, 1A, which is related to 157 South Vernon Street, and 1B, related to a conditional use for 145 Rainbow, have additional items on the agenda that will be heard by the commission later this evening for decisioning. And those are, if you have an agenda, bullet points number 4 and 5. So 4 is 157 South Vernon Street, and item 5 on the agenda is 145 Rainbow Avenue. So once the public hearing is complete, there will be additional action for those particular items. The first item on the agenda, and I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for the conditional use of an auto service station for 157 South Vernon Street. The applicant is requesting approval for the conditional use of auto service station at 157 South Vernon Street, which is currently zoned C2 Commercial District. And what I'd like to do is hand it to our legal counsel, Mr. Vic Whitney, to lay out the formality of this evening and also just the order of operations. And then we'll swear in anyone who wishes to attest related to this proposal. Mr. Whitney?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. My name is Vic Whitney. I'm legal counsel to the Planning and Zoning Commission. As the mayor indicated, the first item on tonight's agenda is this conditional use application for an auto service station at 157 South Vernon Street. This is a public hearing. As you can see, we have a stenographer here who's making a record of everything that's being said. So in a moment, I would ask anyone that is going to offer any comment or testimony as to this conditional use application for 157 South Vernon Street to stand. We're going to have you sworn in by the stenographer. Then once the mayor takes back over in a moment, he will begin the proceedings by calling the applicant and anyone else in turn who wishes to provide any comment on this application to the lectern. When the mayor asks you to come up, please come up to the lectern. There's a microphone there, as you can see it. Please state your name and your address clearly into the microphone so we can make sure we know who you are if we need to reach you after this hearing tonight. And then go ahead and provide your comment. The commission may or may not have questions for you during this hearing portion. If they do, please allow them to get their questions out before you respond. Again, we have a stenographer here and she can only take down notation on one person speaking at any given time. So let them get their complete question or comment out before you respond. So with that said, again, anyone who's wishing to or may testify as to this 157 South Vernon Street conditional use application, if you will stand, the 145 Rainbow Avenue will have you stand in a minute. So if you're not going to offer testimony on the 157 South Vernon Street, you can stay seated for now. And once we get to that second hearing, we'll have that swearing in. But anyone who's going to offer any testimony or may offer testimony on this 157 South Vernon Street, if you will stand and raise your right hand, and we'll have the stenographer swear you in.
Do you all solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
And lastly, Mr. Mayor, with respect to this first conditional use application, I would like to move to admit into the record 4 exhibits. I have marked as Exhibit A, a 12-page document, which is the conditional use application filed by the applicant, along with the remainder of the submittal materials that he submitted, including plan drawings and photographs and, descriptions of what he's planning on doing with the conditional use application that was submitted to the Planning and Zoning Commission. So that would be Exhibit A, 12-page document. Exhibit B is a 6-page document, which is the staff report prepared by the Planning and Zoning Commission related to this conditional use. Exhibit C is a 4-page document, which is the public notice and the mailings and proof of mailing to the affected landowners. And Exhibit D is the site plan of 157 South Vernon Street conditional use that was prepared by staff and submitted to the commission as well. With that, I will move to the exhibits A through D.
Accept. Thank you. All right, so the order of operations will be the applicant presentation. Second will be the staff report. Third will be any public comment. And fourth will be the commission comments and questions. I'd like to invite the applicant up the lectern, and if you would introduce yourself, state your name and address, and the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, my name is Conan Cameron. I'm at 157 South Vernon Street. I'm a mechanic. I'm here to see what I can do to make this work. A lot of my sketches here for visibly, I guess, progressive opportunity to make it look better to what we're growing towards. I picked certain trees out for coverage for the vehicles to kind of shield, make it look a little bit better. One thing I was going to ask about is from concrete to pavement, if paving brick is a viable option, because it seems like I can get my hands on brick a little bit easier than to pay for concrete or pavement. And again, I'm just looking to give this place a facelift and kind of look towards improving on what's there and what's been there for about 100 years now. So see if I can do a little bit better.
Right. Good deal. Thank you. If we have any questions, we'll come back to you. We'll take the staff report and then we'll come back to you, Mr. Cameron. Cool. Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Blankenship, floor is your staff report.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. As you guys saw in front of you when you got here today, I did provide the list of items that we addressed the last time Mr. Cameron was here, just so we have a good base to kind of start off with. So we discussed parking lots and screening, hours of operation, drop off and pick up, and landscaping. I feel the applicant has addressed all of these in his new site plan here, and I'll kind of walk through a little bit of each of them. So firstly, the parking lots, he has lined and striped each parking lot. So we're looking at 7 parking spaces in the southwest side here, along with screening on the west, as Mr. Crammon was alluding to, with the weeping cherry trees. And then we'll have there's 2 potential spots for the dumpsters, which were the orange squares, which will have a concrete padding and then screening in terms of a fence 6 foot around it. And then the lining of the parking lot in the northeast section of the property as well. The trees will be surrounded by raised bed pavers. All of this seems consistent with what we were looking for prior. We mentioned that we wanted parking spaces to be lined and striped and 9 by 18 at a minimum, no double stacking in the parking lot. And they would be paved and striped, which all were addressed in this plan. The screening on parking lot 1 to the east side was addressed with the pavers and the weeping cherry trees, and then the dumpster being screened by the fence. We did recommend 6-foot evergreens or arborvitaes for the screening. The applicant has not done those, but I do think the weeping cherries provide cover, but we would still, per our zoning text, typically want a 6-foot arborvitae or shrub of some sort. Hours of operation, the last time we discussed, we said 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. was what we recommended. 8 to 5 is typically what we see in similar businesses. The applicant has stated that he's going to abide by that, but I'll pass it over to him when he comes back up to further discuss that. And then landscaping, aside from the addition of the trees, there is not, I don't think, any other landscaping according to this plan. And then the only other item would be the lights, which per our code, the lights that he has existing do comply with what we want. He has said that he will upgrade and add additional lights in a future phase of his plan. But at this moment, he does still comply with that regulation. With that, I am open to take any questions that you guys might have about the staff report. If you have anything else that you need, sorry, missed a spot. The only other recommendation we would have would be 12 parking or 12 cars parked outside. I know we had a conversation regarding how often cars would rotate in the parking lot. I don't think from a staffing standpoint that it makes sense to go and kind of keep track of each individual car. So I think as long as we're able to set a limit on how many cars are outside and visible, I think that would be a better recommendation rather than saying the specific type of car and how timely it is allowed to be out there. Aside from that, I do believe the applicant has answered everything we asked of him from the last meeting, and I'm more than happy to go into detail on any of the specific specific parts of this plan.
Thank you. So, all right, the commission, it's open for comments, questions for staff or for the applicant. Any general comments?
Sorry if this was addressed in your opening statements. I apologize. It might be for staff, but so we're saying instead of asphalt pavers, is that right? And then is that first? Is that right? Is that I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like brick pavers that maybe an opportunity I can get my hands on relatively easy.
Okay.
I think based off of how that location is, if they were placed like parallelly, so if you were looking at that lot, they would be widthways instead of length.
Mm-hmm.
It would actually look pretty feasible.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. No. Okay. And then just my other question was relating to that. Then, so I know originally when you were thinking about doing paving, it was going to be phase 3, 2027. Would that be bumped up if it were the?
Yeah, something happened with tariffs and price of material spike with a gold chip factory, and it's just between concrete and pavement, believe it or not, pavement's actually more pricier than concrete per yardage. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But I've got quotes out from Americoat, a couple other smaller companies, and it just doesn't seem like they've got so much spillover from last year. They're just not willing to make deals on pavement.
So do you think your time frame then for that would bump? Would you get that done sooner before 2027?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
I
Thank
think
you.
maybe July of next year
Okay.
might be good
All right. Awesome.
for brick pavers. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question for staff and then maybe a concern. First, the question, is it a requirement to have ADA parking spaces?
Yes, it is.
Those, are they a little bit larger?
Yes, they are. I don't think, based on the amount of room, I don't believe that would be an issue on either side. It might end up canceling out a parking space, but the space, if you have the site plan in front of you, on the southwest in that parking lot, that space on the right, the far one over, that doesn't come up to the concrete pad that he has to enter that building. So I do think that one could easily be implemented into a ADA compliant space.
And then my concern is with the trees, only because this is meant to be screening.
Yeah.
And if I did my research correctly, these leaves are gonna fall off and then they're not providing the same screening.
I would direct that one to the applicant. We are fine with shrubs or arborvitaes. This is a choice that the applicant made. And I do agree that while they would provide screening while they were in bloom, could be an issue when they are not. But I'll let the applicant address that. I'm hoping he knows more about weeping cherries.
Yeah, I had a question about the 12 parking spots outside. There's 11 marked here right now, but I think what you're saying is if we put a maximum on the number of vehicles outside, no matter where they're parked, for how long they're parked, it's easier for us to enforce. And what else would you add to that?
I would agree with everything you said. It'd be easier to enforce because we wouldn't have to keep track of the vehicles. In terms of what the vehicles look like, I think that would come down to condition of premise, which is a typical zoning issue that we are able to enforce per every property in the city. So if there was anything that was unsightly, we'd still be able to go with them at that. I don't think there's a need for conditional or any kind of conditional terms on the approval of this for that. Just because if it is an unsightly vehicle and we get complaints about it, we're going to enforce the code as it says in the condition of premise section.
I don't know if this is relevant to this application, but I recall from the last time we met in October that there was a proposal for additional businesses to be added to the property in the future. That would, the number of parking spaces is being based upon the current amount of space. So if 2,827 square feet. So if that were to become 3,500, 5,000 feet for additional businesses on this property, does that not necessarily increase the required parking spaces? Are we capping ourselves right now at 11 or 12 spaces? And
it depends on, without knowing the uses that would be in those other buildings, it'd be hard for us to determine based on square footage. I believe I calculated this per the one building that this is going to operate out of. So it doesn't take the other sites into consideration without knowing what could go there or what's going to be operating out of it. I would be hesitant to put an exact number on it, but it could be a concern, and we can have the applicant address that as well, assuming that the future plan is still to have further development there and have more businesses open.
right, that's what I'm getting at, I guess. It feels like we're capping that no more of the property could be used for a business because there won't be adequate parking. We've already maximized the parking capacity for one portion of the business, which is, I don't know, 20, 30% of the total square footage of the lot. So, okay.
The issues are trees / screening, called shrub screening. For both the west side property and then screening for the dumpster, correct? Parking spots, no more than 12 cars parked on the exterior of the building at any given time. And do we need to do further research on the ADA handicap parking?
Yes, I can, and I intend on working, assuming this is passed, I'll work with the applicant to make sure that we are compliant on that. That was lack of judgment on my end. I completely forgot about the ADA.
That's okay. And then the 12 spots, whether it comes back it's required or not, that if it is required, it would be one of the 12 spots.
I would think so, yes, based on the availability of space. I would imagine that it would have to be one of the spaces involved.
The hours of recommendation for operation would be 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yep.
Okay. Any additional questions for the applicant on the trees? I tend to agree on something like an emerald green arborvitae.
Evergreen, right?
Yeah, something
Year round.
Right.
Coverage.
Any concerns there? Any questions from the commission? Okay.
I'm seeing two orange boxes. Is there going to be two dumpsters, or is this two options for one dumpster?
Two options for one dumpster.
Okay.
And the applicant's site plan, he put both. Sorry for not putting that in my plan, but yes, two options, either on the right side or on the left side.
And the dumpsters I read here are going to be placed on a gravel, it says gravel pad. Pad to me means concrete, gravel means not concrete.
Yeah.
So it's gravel?
I would defer, depending on the
Gravel?
papers, I feel like
Your
that.
dumpster's going to go on gravel or on a concrete pad? Okay, so stage one is gravel, stage two is paved. Okay. And then back to the question, you're proposing changing the parking area to potentially pavers, where your original plan was originally it was going to be asphalt millings, which is essentially black gravel, and you were going to upgrade that to paved asphalt in two phases. Now, if you go with pavers, where do the pavers?
So
I've already asked, but
I was asked for asphalt to begin with, concrete being an option, but more focused towards pavement. But pavers, there's a lot of pavers sitting right now. And I happen to have a friend who's a paver. So and they're same thing you have right here, cobblestone pavers. Then, like I said, if laid with next to that building, it would look actually pretty nice. If you lay them lengthways, it might look weird, but as far as tackiness goes, I think they'd look pretty well suited for that.
Sure.
And then easy to still tear up and put back in case anything needs to be done underneath the soil, you know, say running water lines through there, or it's not like you're gonna be destroying concrete or asphalt, right?
Okay. Well, I understood how you originally had a three-phased approach where you were gonna kind of build your way up to a final solution.
Mhm.
And this goes all the way through 2027, so more than a year and a half into the future. And as you're revising this plan, as we're discussing, are these things going to be pulled more forward into 25 and 26? What do you see still occurring in 2027?
Correct. It was just the money for the asphalt was $2,000, for me and my family.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked for the time, because there's more than just that I have to do around that property. This is just some of it, right? Therefore, I was asking for time because it would be worth saving to do that, I guess, like to be responsible with the money. Not spending a bunch of money up front and having a bunch of loans or debt out.
Sure. I think we all feel better about things being planned in the near term rather than saying, I'll get to it, because life happens, right? And things come up and all of a sudden 3-4 years have passed and you didn't get to phase 2 or phase 3. So
Sure.
I know my personal comfort level comes with a plan that is more completed within a 12-month window. So I don't know where we stand today on moving forward with this, but I would certainly love to see your revised plan that includes pavers, which sounds like a suitable solution
Okay.
in a 12-month window. So by this time next year, you know, maybe we see all of this completed. I know you can do landscaping and brickwork in a weekend if you got a couple strong backs, but paving takes a little bit longer. So
It does.
yeah,
It does.
and more money, obviously. So
Well, unless you got their pavers.
sure.
Yeah. I have the pavers sitting at my buddy's house. There's more than enough, plenty there. I lay brick myself, so mortar and brick. So the raised bed, that's pretty easy for me. And then the pavers again, because it's my buddy. So if you guys are good with pavers, I think I could have that done probably around this same time. So August 1st, I guess I would say, or end of July, right? Next year. Would that be 12 months?
I've got some notes on that, and we can talk about that when we go to actually hear the particular issue. So when this public hearing is over, please don't leave. Hang around for a little bit. But at least what I have noted, I know you have some specific dates in here, and we can recite these back when we hear the conditional use as an item on the agenda. In general, in 2025, the raised beds, hours of operation will go into effect immediately. We have the dumpster screening, the landscaping that you talked about cleaning up, plus we're recommending evergreen trees, and grading of the gravel, all by end of year. And then by July 31st of 2026, pavers being laid. The one thing I want to mention now is if you say you're going to do pavers and then you do asphalt, it's out of compliance. So if you're going to do pavers, we'll lock it in.
Just do
It
pavers.
sounds like this group is generally open to that concept.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see what it looks like.
Are there any other questions or comments for the applicant or for staff? All right, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Please hang around.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, next item on the agenda is a public hearing for a conditional use. It's a continuance, 145 Rainbow Avenue. The applicant is requesting approval for the continuance of a non-conforming use as to allow the construction of an addition to their home. And we have the applicant here this evening. I'm actually going to hand it to Mr. Vic Whitney one more time. We'll talk about entering exhibits and swearing in any witnesses.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, Vic Whitney, Legal Counsel of the Planning and Zoning Commission. As the mayor indicated, this next item on the agenda is the hearing on a conditional use continuance application for 145 Rainbow Avenue. So again, to the extent in a moment, I'll have you stand if you're wanting to offer comment or testimony as to this 145 Rainbow Avenue application. Same thing as before. I know you all were in here before. Just when the mayor calls you to the lectern, please come up, speak into the microphone slowly, loudly, clearly, state your name and your address. We can get a hold of you, and just try to speak just one at a time so we can get everything recorded. So with that said, would anybody that wishes to offer testimony on the conditional use application of 145 Rainbow Avenue, please stand and raise your right hand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yep.
And lastly, Mayor, with this application, I would move to admit 3 exhibits. I have marked as Exhibit A, 13-page document which consists of the application filed by the applicants and the submittal materials that they submitted therewith, including the plan drawings and elevations that were submitted, as well as the narrative that the applicant submitted along with this application. So that's 13 pages marked as Exhibit A. Exhibit B is a 3-page document, which is the staff report, which has been submitted to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And Exhibit C is a 4-page document, which is the public notice and the proof of mailing to the affected property owners. And with that, I would move to admit Exhibits A through C into the record.
So, thank you. All right, first item is the applicant presentation. If the applicant would come up, introduce yourself, name and address, sir.
Hello, everybody. My name is John Goodman. I'm with Birch Blue Construction. My address is 733 Viola Drive, Sunbury. I'm also here with the homeowner, Blake Calliope, and the designer, Rick O'Brien. Was the PowerPoint one of the packets, or?
Alyssa is going to pull it up now.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So yeah, the addition that we're talking about here is at, like I said, 145 Rainbow Avenue. I noted on this first slide, the existing lot coverage, this is off of Rick's drawings, but the existing lot coverage to the new lot coverage, the overall addition is taking up about 3% more area than the existing addition. You can go to the next slide. The existing home was built before the zoning ordinance, so it does not currently sit within the setback requirements. The existing home also has an existing addition that has a failing foundation. So that would be completely removed, and this new addition would be built in its place. Next slide, please. I kind of went through some of the background on the project. Like I already mentioned, the existing home predates the current zoning ordinance, and same for the addition. The foundation is settling, causing some structural damage. I have some photos of that. The owner would like to rebuild the addition to not only just address the foundation issues, but to also improve the functionality of the home and the overall aesthetics of the home on the outside. The family's lived here for over 10 years, and their children go to Big Walnut schools. And by making some of these changes, they feel that they can settle in the house and stay there and grow as a family within that existing home versus having to move out of the community to do that. This page or this slide kind of shows the existing site plan and layout, and you can kind of see where the existing addition is and the footprint for the new addition, still within the overall confines of the home footprint. And I just noted that to where the existing home is less than the 40-foot requirement for the setbacks. Next slide, please. Here's some photos of the existing house. This is the section that's the existing addition that has the failing structure. One photo per elevation there. Next slide. These are some of the existing kind of the structural issues, the home separating from the addition. It's continuing to get worse over the years. Next slide, please. These are the proposed elevations that Rick has prepared. The existing home is basically over on this side here. We're going to be kind of tying in at that father-son gable there, and adding some dormers to the addition to give them an upstairs living area as well. That's also going to achieve egress, since we're going to be covering up an existing bedroom window. The dormer there will allow egress for that bedroom. And then as far as materials, I've kind of lined out what we're planning to utilize there. The architectural shingles, it will be vinyl siding with the cedar wood grain finish, and then the MI 4300 series vinyl windows, and those would be white. But yeah, I think, again, like I said, the overall intent is to keep the spirit of the area. We've also received some letters of some support from the Kloppy's neighbors. And again, just to improve the overall aesthetic of the home and functionality, and give them a better place to live.
Thank you, Mr. Goodman.
Thank you.
All right, we may call you back here shortly. Thank you very much. All right, next up is the staff report.
So the applicant is requesting a conditional use for the continuance of a non-conforming use as to allow for the construction of a new addition for their home. So the house is considered a non-conforming use since it was built prior to the current adoption of our zoning code. Initially, this was scheduled for the Board of Zoning Appeals for a building setback and a rear yard setback. However, after further investigation, and based on the zoning ordinance, any expansion or extension of a non-conforming building must go to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a conditional use. So the applicant is wanting to remove the current one-story addition and build a new two-story addition. The addition will extend slightly beyond the existing footprint while still meeting the side yard setback requirements. Staff does not believe this will change the consistency of the neighborhood and recommends this conditional use for approval. The applicant has also submitted 3 letters of support from surrounding property owners.
Great, thank you. Is there anyone from the public that was sworn in that wishes to speak? All right, I'll open it up to the Planning and Zoning Commission for comments or questions. Very much appreciate that you took the neighbors' opinions into account and had them document that. My early read on this is it improves the value of your home. It improves safety of your home, the functionality without disturbing the nearby residents, and fits the character of the neighborhood. So again, this is the public hearing portion. We will hear more on this under item number 5 on our agenda. So if you wouldn't mind sticking around, but let me make sure we don't have any more comments from the Planning and Zoning Commission. All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Thank you very much. All right, next item on the agenda is a lot split for 825 Kintner Parkway. The applicant is requesting a lot split at address 825 Kintner Parkway, parcel number 4171301007005. And I'd like to invite the applicant or their representative speak with us. If you wouldn't mind stating your name and your address.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Nolan Wiley. Address of 2 Marinova Place, Suite 2, Columbus, Ohio 43123. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
You want to just give a very brief 30-second overview of what you're requesting from the commission?
We are requesting a lot split of a 4.2 acre portion of the 16 acre remainder for further development.
Okay, and for proximity, this is near the new high school. This is Newman Roofing's property.
That's right.
Thank you very much. Any additional comments?
No.
Okay, we may call on you in just a moment, but we'll go to the staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. So as the applicant said, they are looking to do a lot split off 4.2 acres of this 16-acre parcel. In the staff report, just for clarity's sake, there is a third parcel in here that is made to be right of way. On the final survey included in the packet, that is not included. That's a separate process. So this lot split will just be for the 4.2 acres and the 12.5 acres. That 0.3 acres does not exist. So that image is outdated at this point. But the lot split, I think it is, it does complement the Sunbury Comprehensive Plan. The intent was for Kidner Parkway to extend and eventually connect to Carter's Corner, which with this right of way that I just brought up, it will, and then continue business retention efforts and encourage commercial and industrial development, which I think they are looking to achieve with splitting this 12-acre lot off and making it more developable. So with that, staff would recommend approval of this lot split.
Thank you very much. All right, it's open to the commission. Any comments or questions? I'll make a recommendation for approval of the lot split.
Second it.
Second by Ms. Miller. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Soderman,
Yes.
5 yeas, motion approved.
You. All right, next item on the agenda is number 4, conditional use auto service station 157 South Vernon Street. The applicant is requesting approval for the conditional use of auto service station at 157 South Vernon Street, which is currently zone C2 commercial district. Mr. Campbell, would you mind coming back up to the microphone and we'll just go through at least that I've heard the conditions to be so far and want to make sure that we're on the same page moving forward. This is a summary, so if I miss any, please follow along and recommend any changes. All right, so after the what I think is going to be an approval here, what's going to go into effect immediately is the 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. operating hours. No issues there.
Okay.
Okay. 12 vehicles outside of your property parked on your property, not to exceed. Sorry, so it's said in another way. If you have 13 cars on your property outside of your building, that would be out of compliance. Are you okay with that?
Is this just for those 2 parking areas?
Yes. That's your property, correct?
So no more in those 2 parking areas? Yes, I'm fine with that. When will that go into effect?
Immediately.
Immediately. Okay.
Not the striping and all that stuff, but just the number of cars, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So the cockpit style parking, like where there are 2 cars in a row right there. Yeah, I think
we're just putting a cap on the number.
Okay.
Unless I've heard something different, which I don't think I have. Okay. Good.
Yep.
All right, proceeding, by end of year 2025, I know you had several different dates in there, but just give us, the benefit of the doubt. We're just gonna say by end of year, you're gonna have these things done. Raised beds. 6-foot evergreen trees on the west side of the property. I know you had proposed cherry trees, but I think the consensus of the board is 6-foot starting out height, evergreen trees.
Okay.
Good to go. All right, you're gonna grade the parking lot regardless if you get the pavers in or not. This year, you'll have it graded and.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Great. The screening for the trash dumpster. By end of year.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. I'm just taking notes. Okay. Anything else by end of year?
Debris clearing.
Debris clearing. Debris clearing, that came from your exhibit, or at least that, that language. There any issue with that?
Nope, that's fine.
Perfect. Okay, anything else in 2025? Okay, and then I had, by July 31st of 2026, that you would have a paver, parking lot on the, what would be like the southwest side, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else from the commission?
We talk about drop off and pickups. Did we talk about that or did I?
That was the 7 to 6.
Okay, well, I'm just reading like maximum of 1 week, Monday through Friday and Muscle Rain Park.
Alex covered that a little bit. That'd be pretty difficult to manage from a staff perspective, taking
I know we talked
inventory
about
of car log.
the visual of the
Yeah.
cars. and-
So I think,
Yeah.
I think that ties into like condition of premise. So we do have further zoning ordinances that would help us enforce any kind of, if there's old beaten down cars on there and we get complaints about them, we'll be able to enforce that. But I think having a specific cars in specific timeframes there would be harder to enforce. So I think we're fine falling back to condition of premise and then sticking to the 12 cars on the outside of the structure itself. I think that
So
works.
assuming not an eyesore, it could be parked there longer as long as.
Yeah, as long as it either looks pleasant or it's moved in a timely manner.
Gotcha. Okay, that appreciate the clarification. Thank you.
Do we need to make one of the parking spaces ADA by the end of the year as well? Is that?
Yeah, we need to check the law first. If it's not required, then
I'll work with the applicant. If it is required, I'll help modify this plan, but I do think he has enough space to accommodate that if it is required.
So does that imply that he has to stripe it in its existing condition? He's not doing anything until he puts pavers down next year.
I actually
You have to
have,
stripe it.
I actually have a spot inside between the two buildings with handicap signs up. It says honk for service. It's been there for a long time, since Cellar Lumber was there, and I use that for people right now just to help them. But I can definitely use one of them spots, probably that one closest to the orange, right, to put the
I
handicap.
think the issue is the size of the spot.
Yeah, we can
Access.
verify. So if the spot that already exists complies with ADA, we can let that one roll and it'd just be the third or the 12th spot on the premise. And worst case, we can convert one of the other spots and I can work with the applicant to get it striped or at least get it to ADA compliance prior to if need be. Or we can do the interior spot if that's better and that's easier striped. We can do that in the midterm. And then once pavers are down, we can put the spot on the outside as well. I think either way, we have a solution there.
But he's gonna stripe it 2 times, once now and once after the pavers. Am I hearing,
So striping of the gravel is what you're asking?
I'm asking, are we saying that?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so.
There's no delineation of spots, how many parking spots until end of July next year. So you got
Yeah.
1 year to get to designate 12 stalls.
Okay, Alex could, in theory, Mr. Blankenship could, in theory, go out and monitor the number of cars, which is what I think was one of the primary concerns. The number of cars that were along the property. I mean, if you can go out and count 12, we're good. The ADA compliance issue, I would tie that. I would say action, if ADA parking is required, to the striping that would occur in conjunction with the pavers with the 7/31/2026 date. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Any concerns there? No, making good progress. Those were my notes of the conditions.
The other one was additional exterior lights to be added and the existing to be upgraded.
Mr. Blankenship, you had a note in your staff report regarding
Yes, so the applicant did mention he'd upgrade and add more lights. Per code, he is fine right now. So it isn't, I don't think it's a necessary condition, but if the applicant wants to install lights, he surely can.
Okay.
within our code.
Yeah, well, yes, within our code.
I only see lights on the south and the east side of the property. Are there supposed to be lights on the east side of the property? Where those 4 spots are at the top?
Are there any lights over there, Conan?
There's the pole light,
Street light,
street light,
but not on your property. That's just public street light?
2 of them.
Okay.
Side by, right across from each other, I think. Yep. One right there in front of my building and then the other one's right in front of Duncan.
I see it. Okay, thank you.
It's pretty bright right there.
Are there any other conditions that, there were other items in the staff report that kind of grazed over just very quickly. Like there's other aspects of our code that, like noise, pollution, sound, fumes, things like that.
Yes.
We'll be obligated to.
Yep, per our zoning ordinance, if there's any fumes or anything leaving, we'd be able to enforce that, another condition of premise use. But in addition, a part of the conditional use approval
I believe it mentions specifically, no auto service station shall engage in body fender work, spray painting, upholstery work, glass work, or tire recapping. And then it also mentions no excess in odors or fumes coming out, just as a general zoning code. So if there were excessive uses as part of the conditional use, that would either void the conditional use or be a penalty per our zoning code.
Got it. So. And before Mr. Cameron acquired the property, there was another conditional use that would, none of the conditions that were part of that conditional use would apply to this.
No, not at all. This conditional use would effectively void it.
Thank you. All right. Do we need to do a recap or are you good?
We wrote it down. If you wanted to do a recap for the board, you can, but I think we do have it written down pretty thoroughly.
Once a strong word. Do you need me to do a recap of what I said?
I thought that was already sound.
Okay, good deal. All right, with the conditions that were stated on record, I will make a motion to approve the conditional use application for 157 South Vernon Street. Mr. Cronin Cameron.
Second?
Second by Ms. Crawford. Discussion? Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Soderman,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
5 yeas, motion approved.
Thank you, Mr. Cameron.
Thank you all very much.
Yep, thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, bullet point number 5. This is related to 145 Rainbow. And are there any questions for the applicant? I think we can skip over.
I had one question.
Sure.
And I assume this is correct. When you put the new addition in, you're changing the siding and everything so it won't look, they'll blend together, or you're doing it the outside together?
Yes, we're replacing the siding on the entire house and the roof on the entire house, so it all will be seamless and blend in.
Okay.
Any comments or questions? I'd like to make a motion to approve. Second by Mr. Grumney. Any discussion? Really glad you're staying in the community. You look really familiar. Maybe we've seen each other at sporting events or something, but this is awesome. And I hope more people can do this, because I always fear that people either get priced out or nothing is cheap these days. And I'm sure this is not cheap to do, but it's great that you get to improve your home and make it safer. And I think whether the neighbors know it or not, you're adding a lot of value to their property as well, which is great. Excellent. Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Soderman,
Yes.
5 yeas, motion approved.
Thank you. Well, good evening. Thanks. Are there any, we need to give them any direction on what's next? Like we need to sign some documents?
I'll handle that. They're gonna have to sign for the conditional use and they'll come back for zoning certificate, so we can get that done.
Excellent. Thank you. Have a great evening. Great. Next item on the agenda are the visitors section. Do we have any visitors out there? Yeah. All right. Looking for an approval on the May 26th meeting. We did not have a meeting in June.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion by Ms. Crawford. Second by Mr. Grumney.
Second, yep.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Soderman,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Abstain?
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
4 yeas, motion approved.
We've got the zoning report.
Thank you, Mayor. Few things this month that happened. The groundbreaking for the Sunbury Parkway did occur. So they are building the road to connect Wilson, building the ramps, I believe, and then the next phase would be building up to Africa. So it is officially underway and actually a reality now. So that will happen here shortly, and I'm sure you'll see construction if you haven't already. Development is happening out there right now. We are starting, I think I've said it the last couple months, but work is beginning on the zoning code update officially now. We were awarded a $50,000 grant. If I didn't mention it last meeting, there were time restraints on that, so we couldn't start as soon as we wanted. And then we have to use that fund by next year. So by June next year, we will have thoroughly thoroughly work through updates to our zoning code, and we should be able to report those. And then, Ms. Miller, we will be reaching out to you as you are on our collaborative group on that effort. So, and then there is, I don't have the document with me now, but every year we do an annual inflationary adjustment for our impact fees. We typically don't talk about impact fees in planning and zoning, but me and Carla, who's not here, thought it'd be nice to kind of bring you guys in the loop. So with the development that you guys approve, we get fees based on whatever they're trying to do. So based on square footage, based on units. We are bringing money in that way that'll go to our roads, go to our parks, go to our police, go to our municipal facilities for improvements. So over the past few years, we haven't had too much use in that. This year we did have use for a lot of different projects. So in that report, what I'll have is one, if there is any inflationary adjustment needed. So we have an index that we reference to see how the cost of construction has gone up over the past year, and then find whatever number that is, see what our impact fees would be, and then recommend to council whether we increase our impact fees by that much or we remain the same. So just cost of doing business. If we need to increase our fees to bring in more funds based on the cost, then we will do that. Other items in this report just go over specifically how many impact brought in per project. So we did the approvals of the expansions of Hitachi and Ohashi last year. Those both had impact fees themselves that have been paid. So you'll see those numbers referenced in that document. So you can kind of see exactly what kind of money these projects are generating for the city as well. And then it goes into specifically looking at new builds and zoning certificates and how much impact fees each individual house will raise itself too. So we'll have some broken down figures on that, as well as a recommendation if we do want that inflationary adjustment. So I'll bring that next month and we'll go through that a little more, but just wanted to put it on your radar and kind of bring in a little more of the finance fee side to this so you guys have a better idea of what the projects you're improving actually do financially for us as well. Not as well as just development outright, but financial implications of it too. With that, we had 33 zoning certificates in the past month, 23 of which were new builds. That does include the Northport Residential Hotel that was out on the west side of town, over on the other side of 71. That one had 154 multi-family units itself. So we had a lot of units approved as of this month. And then 29 occupancy permits, which are all Pulte related. So they are in their 3 developments, Magnolia, Price Ponds and Eagle Creek. They're just getting occupancies and sending them through. So if you guys haven't made a trip out west to see the Eagle Creek development out there, they are rapidly building those up. So I would recommend taking a look, just because it's, I mean, what started out as a big empty field now has 20 plus houses on it already, and they're actively going. Our 23 new builds put us higher than last year. It's not really a race or a track, but I do feel like we have one kind of weird month where we get a bunch of zoning certificates and new builds approved, and that was this month. Puts us on pace. I think our development pace is fine right now, especially with our only 3 projects or Pulte projects for single family, and then we have this multifamily sprinkled in. So nothing too crazy with that. I did want to note in the subdivision build out, I did implement Woodland Lake in here, but I did forget to change the number of units. So I apologize for that, and I'll send out a revised copy with the correct number of units after this meeting as well. And then the only additional item I have, Alyssa, if you could pull up the OneDrive for me. We've been working on, it's just a Google map for now, and eventually I see it taking place in our GIS. There it is. But I created a map that shows where all of the projects that have been approved by this body are that are actively in development, as well as different public places, schools and parks, as well as some of the completed developments, including Rolling Hills, or not Rolling Hills, but Miller's Cove, just a project that has been done that has been seen by this body. I'm going to send you guys the link for this. It's also in the OneDrive currently, but if you click on the projects, it gives little details as to them, exactly what's going on. So if you have any recommendations of what you would want to see in this information, I am planning on including this in future meetings just in there so you can reference exactly where. And if you see the little cupolas, those are the items that were on our agenda today. So 157's on there, the 145 Rainbow's on there, and then the Kittner lot split is on there as well, just to give you some geographical location of what we're approving, as well as all the projects that have existed prior. So the intention is to put whatever next step they have with council or planning commission in this. But is there, I think density is constantly brought up, but any other information that you would want to see out of these projects that you think would be useful in this map format?
Helpful, thank you. I guess awesome. And this will be available where again?
So it's on the OneDrive where the digital file is, and then if it's easier for you guys, I can send the link out just in
That'd
general
be
email
great
to
for
you guys
me.
as well.
I don't know about anyone else, but I
No.
appreciate the link.
No worries, I'll include it.
Yeah.
And that is all I had for updates.
Very much. Any questions for Alex? Comments? Okay. All right, new business, any discussion topics, Mr. Grumney, Ms. Miller? Robert? Mr. Stotterman?
Nothing, no.
Neither do I. Next meeting date, August 25th, 2025. Do we have any items on the agenda that's fine?
Yes, we will have intern presentations and I will be giving a short demo of OpenGov as well. It was originally scheduled for this meeting, but I didn't know how long this meeting would take and I figured I would go for the lighter meeting rather than throwing it on top of this one. So we'll have a few items and we don't have any applications for outside or development yet. So pending how many commissioners are available, that might change what the meeting is, but for now I would intend on having a meeting in August.
Great, thank you. All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Ms. Miller. Discussion? Roll call?
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Soderman, Mrs. Crawford,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
5 yeas, we are adjourned.